yo, check it. The hour power. POD cast is upon your ass. Spitting on the mic is the NZ boss. And his homie DJ NZ the R's. Yeah, don't twitch, don't snitch, don't switch. Just open up your senses. And now listen to the hour power. To the hour power.
Yo, what's up, peeps? Welcome to today's episode of the NZ Boss Hour Power. Today we're very privileged to have our very first All Black guest, my boy out of Fielding, Aaron Smith.
Kia ora, welcome. It's good to hear 323. It's been a while, but can't forget where you're from, and you've been awesome for that, and thank you for having me on.
No, it's a pleasure. I don't know if you've seen Juro in any of the photos that were posted, but he's got a bald head. In your hairdressing days and your professional skills, is there anything that you can do with that?
Well, when they don't have hair, it's a bit of a struggle, but it's one of those things. Michael Jordan had no hair and he was the GOAT, so you can rock it.
Thanks, man.
So
I like to call it the Dwayne Johnson, the Rock look, man, not bold.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things. You get asked that question a lot, and people think it's quite funny, but you got to have a good comeback. That you got to keep everyone happy.
Bro,
we got the Rock's bald.
I have dreams at night. This is no joke. Sometimes I wake up and I go, man, I just had a dream that I had hair, and I wake up actually thinking that I have hair, and it's the biggest fucking.
Man, I'm
deal.
the same. I have a dream thinking that. I have a dream that I'm 6 foot, and then I wake up and still hadn't happened. So I get you.
What happened with the top knot, bro? What was the decision to whip that off?
Well, if I be honest, it got to the point where I was going to dread it, or I was going to cut it off. And then we played in Fiji about 2 weeks ago, and to be honest, about halfway through the game, I was shitting bricks about it coming out, and I kind of thought to myself, I played pretty bad. If I'm worried about my hair half the time, this is becoming a problem. So it was fun for what it was. I'd never had long hair, and I kind of really wanted to have a go at it. I had a go at it, and then I thought, hey, it's about that time, get rid of it. And I think I played better in the weekend because it was gone. So didn't have any worries. And anytime I put my head in a ruck or something, I'd just be scared someone would rip out the knot and I'd look like a fool. So I think it was time to go once I was worried about that. I read Andre Agassi's book, and when he had his wig on, that was all he was freaking out about. He was more worried about his wig coming off than playing tennis. And I sort of was thinking to myself, okay, I think it's about time I cut this off. And it was fun, and it was a challenge sort of thing. And I got there and I tied it up, and it was fun, and it was just about time. And I miss it, but it's definitely a lot easier without it.
Yeah, I thought it looked gangster, bro. You even inspired me to try and grow my hair back for a little while. First, you had that Fresh Prince flat top going on, bro, and then the top knot. But there's too many greys poking out my end.
I sort of always wanted that. If I look back, there's always sort of different styles. So there's a top knot one now for a little saga there. So when the kids look at it one day, they can go, "Hey, what was going on there, Dad? Or what was this? What was that?" I just didn't even want to have the same cut my whole career. So yeah, you got to try.
At least you know which season you're in. Like when you had that cut, you know it's 2018. Maybe next year you have dreadlocks, and that's 2019 season.
I'm going a bit grey now, so I've got to really be careful.
Bro, it just gets shorter and shorter. I'm a skin on the sides and a half on top, bro. That's it these days. No, I think I'm heading that way. Anything past a 2 or a 1.5, it looks a bit shiny. Nah, you're looking crispy, bro. So just going to rewind it a little bit. Obviously, you play halfback for the All Blacks. You were selected for the New Zealand Māoris in 2010, and then for the All Blacks in 2012 and 2015 World Cup win. Rewind it for us, man, back to those early days, from fielding and how you progressed through the grades.
Yeah, I just think I was like any normal sort of Māori kid growing up in a small town. Just love sport. My parents are playing cricket and rugby, and they both were pretty social sports people. I wouldn't say they were superstars or anything, but their love and support was always massive. And to be honest, I was probably a lot better at cricket when I was young. I got to about sort of under 13s or 14. I was in the reps for cricket, and my dad goes to me, look, and he's like, look, I love you, but you're going to have to pick one because I can't take you to both sport every second day. And I was like, okay. And then we sort of put a plan in place, not really thinking anything of it, but he was like, do you want to play cricket or rugby? You want to be in the All Blacks or a black cap? And I was like, I'd love to be an All Black. And he was like, are you sure? Because he wanted me to play cricket. And I probably should have chased the cricket dream a bit more, but I sort of, I said nah. And he's like, okay, well, you're not going to be very big. So I was sort of quicker because I could kind of throw the ball in, and I was a little bit nuggety back then. And then I said, we'll start playing halfback then. And then we just sort of came up with drills to do. And he kind of challenged me every night. I had to do a certain amount of passes. And then it got to a point where he wanted me to do, like my left hand, I never used to play left hand. And he just said, look, to be a halfback, you got to pass both hands. And it kind of was like a bit of a blow-off joke, but that was sort of the thing he put in me. He's like, every night before we had dinner, we're going to have to do passing at the wheelie bin. And there's like a sticker on the wheelie bin. And when I was about that age, it was like the perfect height for like a 10. So every night he'd come home from work about 5-ish, 5:30. He'd grab a couple of beers, and then I'd just start passing the ball at the bin. And if it hit the bin right, it would come back to me, so I wouldn't have to move. And then just guess that kind of stuff. And my mum was always massive around just dreaming big, so like the faith of that. And then around when I was about 12, I actually joined karate. So I think that has a lot to do with sort of trying to use your like power to weight, but like transfer into the past. I think it's a big thing that people don't get. I'm a small fella, but I can throw it a long way, and it's more because you just know how to sort of, when you punch, you breathe out. When you pass, I do the same thing, but just trying to use your whole core / whip / ripping of the ball to try and throw it as hard as I can, and just sort of a contribution of everything. But I think around that stuff like karate, learning how to use my body for the smallness, but being able to wriggle out of situations, being a bit stronger than I look, and then just hours and hours of passing that ball at the wheelie bin, and I really owe it to that. But I think a lot of the transformation came when I sort of made the Māoris in 210. Like, I could play halfback, but I wasn't that fit, if I think about it. I thought I was fitter than most, but to be a world-class 9, you got to be, I could play a certain tempo for 30 minutes, like I could for 30, and then I'd be hanging on for the next 50.
Yeah.
2010 was a Māoris, and I kind of wasn't really trying. I was probably living just as hard off the field as I was on it. I was training hard, but I was partying pretty hard. And then Jamie Joseph said to me when I came down, he's like, hey, look, I'll be honest with you. I'll pick the best halfback. I don't care if Jimmy's played 50 tests and you've played none. Like, if you're better, I'll pick you. And that was kind of like whatever, mate. He's just played in the World Cup. He's the man. And then that off-season I came home, I got fit, like pretty fit, and didn't party too hard, and just like I got really fit in Jan, and I ran real good fitness times and played rugby in the preseason, and I was like, shit, this is way easier. I'm not trying to hang on in a game, and like I was like, I could, run myself into the ground, and then they'd sub you, and that's all good. That's what we do at halfbacks now. Like, you just go hard till you fall over. But back then I'd fall over about 30, coast for 10, get in at half time, have another drink, and then go, God, here we go. But, and then just the whole professionalism of all of that. But I think once I really figured out, hey, I've really got to put the Ks into my legs and get fit. And because at the time they were so worried about weight for me and size that it's just counterproductive, trying to be 85 kg guy and run a 19 on a yo-yo. It just doesn't work,
Not at your height.
Not at my height, nah. So it was like, I'd be 83 and I could carry it for 50 minutes, but, it was a sluggish 50, but trimmed down to about 81, I could play for 70 minutes flat out and really impact the game with my speed and my tempo. And then they were kind of like, that works. And then, now like all the halfbacks are small, and, there's a pathway for that type of body shape in rugby, and it's awesome that, at the time, I remember Kelleher and Marshall, they're 6'1", 6 foot,
90
100
kg.
kg, 90 to 100 kg halfbacks, and I'm bloody 80 kgs. At the moment, I'm 80 flat, if that, I just sort of in the best shape of my life, but it takes a while to, I wish I'd learnt this 10 years ago. I'd love to see where I could have gone, but, it's just a part of life growing up, and I think a part around that with your body too is, knowing what it needs and what it doesn't need, and then knowing when you do this, you get that. And so I don't run as much anymore, but I have a watt bike, and that's just my like machine now. Like when I train on the field, I train hard and I run hard, but on those off days, I use my watt bike to get the Ks through my legs, but just to blow the lungs up, because man, those watt bikes are just, they're killer machines, bro. And it just makes me, bro. Yeah, there's no hiding on that thing, but I go into my shed, put my hoodie on, put my headphones on, just go for it, and like, it's not that running sore on my joints and that, it's just full guts and lungs and effort, and yeah, it's tough.
Perfect
though.
Conditioning.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, you mentioned like when you get on the field, you get in and out and like you wiggle through people and that. But watching the game as a neutral admirer of any sport, especially union, man, to me you seem like you're untouched all game. And I was going to ask you, do you have like an agreement with the forwards? Hey, you don't touch me. I'll buy you a beer after the game or something. I don't know.
No, it's just one of those ones, like, pick the battles. Like, there's some, I don't know, like, I love those, if the ball's on the ground, like, I'll lay up for it. Like, I don't mind going into contact, like, for the, like, I don't know. It's just what we call a hard ball gets. Like, there's no, it's like, like in the army, it's like, who's going to dive on the grenade and take the blow for the brothers? Like, I don't mind doing that stuff. But I ain't going to run into someone at full tack and go, here, let you light me up. Like, I just pick and choose when to be brave and when to try and be strong, And it's more those things like, yeah, I pride myself on if I get caught, I can still get the ball away or wriggle out of situations or pick and choose or, use my strengths in different ways and be like, sharp and violent. So if they hit me, I spin off and then quickly, land long and they can't get the ball or, you just, man, sometimes you just get literally bonkford and you just can't do shit. But
you're never a liability.
Yeah, but it's like always like that. Yeah, you get hit and I just bounce back up, so it looks like it doesn't hurt. I mean, it does hurt, but you never show them that. So they hit you sometimes, and the Africans love it. Oh, I got you, little nugget, and I'm like, no, it didn't hurt. No, just like. But really, I'm sitting there going, God, I felt all 120 of that. But it's one of those big man, little man things. But hey, I get the same thing on like. If I'm running out or stepping or saying, the tear in the eyes is the same as when they're running at me. So it's the same kind of, that's the beauty of rugby. So big guy on little guy, cool. But little guy on big man and lots of room, they're shitting bricks. And that's when I get them. And that's when I pick on them. And then 50th minute, they're blowing gas. And then it's a quick tap. And then I can run around you and make you look like, hey, this is how New Zealanders play rugby.
Nice.
I get my vengeance in certain ways. Like, you just use the skills you got, and being small and agile, and that is sort of my thing, and that's their way,
Well, your passes definitely revolutionised the game. Like, the speed that the All Blacks can play at off your pass, how you control the speed of the ruck and stuff like that, and the clearance you can get and how far it is. It's just sped the game up so fast, and you can see the other international teams trying to duplicate it, So for me, coming from fielding where we come from, and, I heard everyone talking about you throwing that ball at that wheelie bin all day. And, my grandfather, Rex Hunter, who was a massive fan of yours, every time I'd come home or ring him up, he would go, you see this boy, Smitty, old nugget, bloody throw the ball from one side of the field to the other, boy, straight as an arrow. He would always, he's going to be an All Black one day. And he was only... he was one of the biggest rugby fanatics you could ever come across, or the biggest I've ever met. And he watched Christian Cullen at age grade, and he called him as an All Black, and Julian Severe at age grade and himself. And all 3 years went on to become All Blacks. So, seeing you sort of get in that black jersey from where we're from, it was mean,
I think the thing I think about with that stuff is like, like, my mum and that would kind of talk about it a lot, like it's not like it was like not thought of, but it wasn't like I didn't believe it, but I didn't not believe it either, like if you be honest around the talk around it. But man, like at school I wasn't as good, but my first year at club in front of your grandfather and that, like we went to the Hankin final that year and we nearly won it, but Crude stole it from us, Aaron Cruden. So there are wizards in the game and he's one of them. And what I always try to preach, like, I live down south, but there's like little town kids come and see us and that, and it's just like, I'm from Milton. Do you think I can make the All Blacks? And I go, don't ever doubt, because every All Black there's only a few from the city, Everyone's from little places. everyone's from the little towns. It's always those kind of kids, not the ones that played in the city, didn't have it rough, we had a bike and that, but there's no way mum and dad were dropping me off in town. I had to go down there, or, you just were that kind of kid, rough and tumble, didn't wear shoes, and you just played sport till dark, or you got hungry, you just on your bike playing, stubbing your toes, cuts, grazes. If you weren't bleeding at the end of the day, you weren't going hard enough, It was kind of the way that we were brought up in fielding, as you were the same, and you just go hard. And then, obviously the stuff around high school, like the Whitelocks being at my school, pushed like the dream of, this would be pretty cool. Like professional rugby. I wasn't the brainiest guy, but I knew that I could play sport, but could I really crack the next level? And to me, I was just so focused on trying to make the turbos that was sort of, to me, to play club in yellows, play in front of my old man, play in front of my family, play for the club my dad played for, and try and make one or two. It was like, that was sort of the dream I had, and that was it. Like, it wasn't like All Blacks was really in the picture then, not when you're 18 or 19, but
yeah.
It started moving pretty quickly. Under 19s. I got a hernia in under 19s, and I missed out on NZ19s, but the next year they had NZ20s, the first year it ever happened, and I was lucky enough to get a trial for that and made that team, and that was really it. Wayne Smith said, I got player of the day at the final trial, and he said, this guy's got it, and I was like, wow, this is Wayne Smith, the guru, the rugby guru, and who would even ever think that we'd sort of, I ran the defence in the World Cup with Wayne Smith and a couple of others, me and Liam Messam, and that we were the D group, and I just can't believe that, he's a good friend of mine now. He's like a father figure, and, our defence was to be 90% tackle rate, wins World Cups, and we were 92% at the World Cup for the whole time. And from under 20s, I met the guy and he said, you're going to be an All Black, whatever, this guy's got it. He coached me for 3 years and we won a World Cup. It was pretty special to see how full circle those things go. But, between all the hard work and that, I think about those kind of what the hell moments, I met Mick the Kick when I was 15 at fielding, and he taught me some passing drills, and I was still doing them when I met him in the All Blacks. He was like, you're that kid from fielding, aren't you? And I was like, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. And that's where, most people don't sort of know these stories or that full circle, like you said. One time we caught up when you came back to my office, and we had a bit of a catch up in that, and you said you hadn't had a game off. I think you'd had one game off in 4 seasons, and in those 4 seasons you'd won the Super 15, a Rugby World Cup. You'd pretty much won every trophy that there was to do, and most people just wouldn't know, hey, this guy's played 100-odd games in a row, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a bit of a scary... They look after us a bit more now, but that little block between 2012 and 2015, I was just... Obviously, no injuries, which was very lucky. I had a couple, but they made me play for a couple of them, which was a bit rough. But, it was a pretty... Going into next year where there's a World Cup, I'm really excited about where I can get my body to and my mind to, and then the experiences I have mentally through all those games, tough moments I've been in a game, or, situations, knowing teams. It's just so exciting. When I went to the first World Cup, I didn't really give a hoot. I was just so pumped to make the squad, I'm going to a World Cup. This is awesome. But now I'm in the leadership group, and you're having a big effect, or you can really implement your style or your leadership on the team. It's quite exciting. So, fingers crossed I get to go, but the planning that's already gone into place, the preparation. So I use this off season as a way to see what I could put my body through and see if it would set me up well into a season. And I think I've kind of got the formula of what I want to do for next year's off season, because as I said, all those games we play, there's 30 games and we play about 32 tests, or 32 games all up, 18 super and 14 tests, plus a couple of pre-seasons around that. Then the year's over, mate. That's a year gone pretty quick. We're halfway through now. We're round 18, played 3 tests as well, plus a couple of pre-seasons. We played 20 games already, and then, there's still 12 to go, so 13 to go. So, But it goes quick. That's what I mean. Like you're planning around. Like I was planning my off season because next year it's the biggest year of my life coming up. So it's like one of those like, what are you willing to give up? What are you willing to do? And I'll do whatever. But as I said, I'm more excited about going into this one than the last one because the last one was just like a dream ride. Like still couldn't believe I was an All Black. I was just playing rugby. It was just so much fun. But this time it's sort of a bit more special. Like if it can happen and if you can get there. You just know how grateful you be and how you want to be in those moments. And I just want to be fit, strong, mentally, body language, strong as shit, and looking them in the eye and going, it's going to take you a lot to have to beat us. And that's where I think we can get to. Because we learned a lot from the Lion series, I think. We built it up too much.
Yeah.
And we stuffed it up. So we're not going to do that. And we're going to be a bit more confident in what we've got, not what they've got. So without giving away too much, that was sort of something we learned from the Lions. So it was a blessing in disguise and that's a lot of the players we're going to play in the big games next year.
Hey Aaron, without giving too much away, obviously something happens in the change room before the game that brings the team together and unites everyone. Is there a moment in that dressing room where you feel that in the air and like what is it? What is that feeling? Because I mean, let's face it, when we're never going to be in that dressing room. TVs don't show it. You can only experience it. Can you kind of shed some light on that?
Oh, it's for the All Blacks anyway. It's that moment you put the jersey on because you get a new one every game, and you just know every time it's on, it's like a superhero outfit. It's just like you just feel invincible. And it's about 7:31, so we're coming from our warm up. You have 3 or 4 minutes before you come into the huddle. And these jerseys are pretty tight, I'll be honest. So you got to take your top off, dry yourself so it can get on, and then But I go to our mental skills and our manager Gilbert Anoka. He's pretty famous in the All Blacks, but I go to him every time to help put my jersey on. It's like our thing, and then we hug and embrace and just say, "Good luck, mate. Go and do your thing." But when we first huddle up before we run out, it's like everyone's in our kit. I always yell out, best day of the week, this is the day we've trained for, let's go, come on. Like, it's the day. Like, all that training is finally here. Like, we get to play. Like, man, so much goes into a game that it's just like, finally, it's here. And I always yell that out, like, as I put my jersey on. Woo! Yeah, it's finally here, boys. Best day of the week. That kind of
Let's
stuff.
get it.
Let's go, like, finally. And then, I don't know. Just when you're in the huddle, it's fully blacked out. Rito's speaking or Sam's speaking, it's just like, get us on that field. And then you got to listen to the anthem. Then you got to do the haka. Then you finally get to kick it off, and it's like, But, once that jersey's on, you just sort of, the mood changes very quickly. This ain't no muck around now. Let's go. And, the arm is on. Let's go hit it.
That's fucking awesome, man. I'm fucking pumped after that.
One of my proudest moments watching you, bro, was when you led the haka. Your mum was a teacher of mine at school and a massive role model to me at a young age. Probably how she installed a lot of those things into you, just to believe in myself and be proud of being part Māori and proud of who I am. And she'd always push me to the front to be kaya or lead boy. So that first time I saw you lead the haka, bro, I got tears in my eyes. It was mean. And I think,
oh man, it was scary, bro.
Bro,
it was scary but it was awesome. So I did a bit of work leading the haka before the World Cup. About 4 of us did some work with Derek Liddell. He wrote Kapo Pango, and it was just a group of us, me, TJ, Liam Messam, and Kev Mialamu, and but it was special. We went to Raupara. It's just out of Wellies, where the guy who wrote Kamate, his tribe was, and it was just like so spiritual and just such an amazing experience. And there was kinners, there was crayfish, there was power, it was all what you just expect. And then so I got a little bit of an embrace of it there. I was nearly going to lead it at the World Cup, and I didn't want to do it. And then 2016, I got the chance to lead it, and then but I sort of handed it over more to TJ. He's such an amazing kaya and his mana in the group, and he deserves to do it and lead it. And like I said, it is quite a scary thing to do. So, but I think TJ just does a real good job at it, and he leads a lot of our connection to the Fern or our whare or all that stuff in the All Blacks. So it was more appropriate he keeps doing it. But, the good thing is, either way, one of the halfbacks is going to lead it. So, and it's good that our halfbacks in New Zealand, well, at the moment, all three are Māori boys, and, that mixture of Māori flair with our my father's Pākehā, so the brain's a bit more, and then a little bit of that Māori spirit, whatever, and then that little man syndrome. Well, TJ's not little, but for me and Triple T it is.
It keeps you guys honest, bro. The three of you, and you always have that mutual respect for each other. So, when you guys exchange on the field, and you TJ and you hongi and that, and you show that respect for each other and tell your brother to go on there and take care of business, it's awesome to see,
Yeah, and it is a brotherhood like that. The hardest thing is from Super, is you go from Super 1 week smashing each other to in camp the next day as brothers, and and it works, and that's how we do it. And it's hard, but you always like playing your mates. It'll be like when you're working out with your mates in the gym. Like, no way if he goes, do you want to drop down a set? You're like, get out of here, boy, I got it.
I always used to do it to Shane. Shane goes, let's go light. And I'm thinking, I might have a chance to beat him now. Yeah, bro, you go light. Yeah, you go for it, man. I'll stay heavy.
Man, the weights is always funny. That's why I quite like that circuit training. That's why me and Tegan are getting into that F45 kind of area. And I went and did one after the game in Canterbury, and it was awesome. And just that, it's compete to win. They put me with their fittest chick, and I'd played a game the night before, and I was blitzed, but I ain't gonna let this chick beat me. It's like I ain't gonna back down. Doesn't matter who it is. And it's just one of those things. But that bodyweight stuff I sort of really get enjoyed about. But it's quite cool.
With the halfback position, I mean, it's not just kick and pass. There's a lot more going on in the field that we're not aware of. Can you touch a bit on that? Like, obviously calling plays and that, but what's going through your mind the whole game?
Yeah, we're just sort of the eyes and the voice, and sometimes it's voice for motivation, sometimes it's voice for calming, or you settle down, or don't worry about that mistake, or but as nines we always talk to the ref, which we probably shouldn't do, but we always have an opinion to him, which is always quite funny.
Bro, in that 9 jersey.
Yeah, that kind of halfback thing. But yeah, definitely, like we say, we sort of communicate around the ruck, around where there's especially on defence, where there's a hole, where to fill it, or what to do and leave the ball, or we just sort of try to commentate what's going on in our language. So blitz the ruck, or leave it, or zero, or the kill call, or we just sort of be the eyes, and then the boys can just react. So we always try to think of it like a conductor, with his band. You're just sort of behind the ruck, just leading them and communicating. And if they can't fill the gap, we fill it. So it's always quite cool. So, but that's one thing I love about being halfback, is I watch a lot of footage on what their trends are and what giveaways are. Like if a fullback runs blind, or when a hooker stays on the blind, they're going to hit him and give it back, or when the number 8's in that ruck, that means they definitely go back there, and just trying to outthink them. But it's like, it's always one of those things, just trying to be prepared that I can go out there and just do my job, and try to outthink where they are, or stop what they're going to do, and it's pretty stressful, those derby weeks, because those teams, every New Zealand team can do about 20 things in one move. So Aussie teams or African teams are a bit simpler, but man, New Zealand weeks and that are just like stressful, because Damien McKenzie out the back, or giving it to Mwonga, who gives it to Crotty, and then Kieran Reid's out there, and oh god, it's just like a nightmare. But that's why we play, and, and we hope it's the same for us. Ben Smith, Waisaki, Rob Thompson, we've got all the guys that can. But that's why Super Rugby is so much fun, and it's such a challenge. But yeah, that's the best part of halfback. You're sort of trying to outthink where they're going and stop what they're going to do.
Hey, it'd get pretty loud, wouldn't it, at some of the away games, like in Europe, and I'd like to say Australia, but I've been there. The Aussies don't get loud at all. But some of the away massive stadiums, it'd be hard to communicate, right?
Oh man, it's crazy over there. Like, they're such big stadiums, passionate fans. But South Africa, and any place in South Africa is loud, man. They are like, they call it like Yapi, or they are like into it. They have big beers and that before the game, and they're coming in there, and it's not like New Zealand where it's PC and don't want you to drink too much. They don't care, and they're roaring, and they are like, they're yelling stuff at you. They hate you. Everyone's wearing a green jersey. That's the scariest thing and the funniest thing. You rock up to the game, they're all in Springbok jerseys. New Zealand, like, it's kind of like wear a scarf and the old guy wears a jersey, and we're so PC. But, man, over there, it's like if you don't have a jersey on, what's wrong with you? You're not a South African supporter. So.
Wow.
But the scary thing in Europe, or the cool thing, is when I'd hate to be a goal kicker, is they go dead silent. Like, you kind of don't want to breathe too loud because it's too loud. It's like, don't talk.
And
like,
there's been
don't
a couple
talk.
of close games, AB games, where it's come down to that last kick the last few years too.
Yeah. No, hard out. I remember when Azza banged those 2 kicks over. But I remember the worst thing was I heard this Māori guy, Jonathan Sexton, they were up by 6. And they were up by 7. If he kicks this goal, it's 10-point lead, 3 minutes to go, it's over. Like rugby, that's over. Like, you don't score. But if he misses his kick on the 15, like Johnny Sexton, he ain't missing this kick. And I'm thinking, if this is going to be that was the year we could have gone 14-0, perfect year. Shit, we're going to lose it now if Johnny Sexton kicks this. And I just remember hearing this Māori guy yell out, he's going to choke. And because no one's speaking, like, it's dead silent, all the Irish start booing him, and then you could see, like, Sexton readjusting that, and he joked, he missed, and it's like, wow. And it was a Kiwi voice, like, he's gonna choke, and I was just like, oh my god. But he might have saved the day, and I always think of that. Like, we still had to just go 70 metres to score a try, but like, we had a chance then, and we smelt blood, and we I think we all kind of went then, oh, here we go. But then we still lost the ball, minute to go, and then they lost it again. So it wasn't like it was meant to be, but it was like, it gave us a chance. We all got our, like, heels up going, shit, if we get the ball back here, we can draw the game, and Azza could bang it over, and we're going to win. So anything can happen. But I just remember that moment, like, oh my God. I was like, thank you, Kiwi guy, but geez, you're probably going to get a hiding after this, because I heard people like, oh, that's rude. I just remember that in my head going, poor Johnny. He would have heard that clear as day.
But they're not quiet when you're kicking, right? They're going frenzy.
No. They do the same thing. They're so respectful. It's both teams. That's why it's eerie.
I can't believe that, man. Wow.
Yeah. It's so eerie. Yeah, even when Bodie kicks it, they just boom, dead silent.
That's a really...
It's quite cool. It's quite cool.
It's quite psychological too when you think about it.
Oh man, it's probably easier for a kicker to kick in noise because it's all jumbled then. But
then
like
the
in silence, there's no hiding there.
He's gonna choke.
Māori racks up. You're gonna choke.
Sorry, brother.
Oh my god.
Are
you a beer later, shop bro?
Whoever shouted that out, man. Props to you. High five. Man,
hard out. You got us that perfect season.
So how many more years have you signed on for? Are you signed till the end of 2020? Like, what's your sort of goals over the next couple of years?
I'm signed till end of next World Cup, so end of next year. Yep. Sort of just looking at my options now, actually. So we're just talking through it. It's still pretty early days, but I've got some sort of big dreams I'd like to chase in the All Black jersey still. So if I can stay on and that, but that's a lot to do with what the NZRU want as well. So still a little bit up in the air, but talking with them and talking with Tegan and what we want to do as well and where we want to go, what we want to achieve. So it's actually right where we're talking about it now. So it's more, we just sort of have all the options at the moment, and we're going to decide what we're going to do. So, but I think I've got a lot to give to New Zealand, not just want to take off after next World Cup. I'd love to stay around and give back a bit more and help our new Highlanders come through and get back to New Zealand a bit more. I don't want to just take off yet.
Beautiful. What? How many tests are you on now?
74.
74. So you got to crack that 100. That's got to be a goal for sure.
Well, yeah. I don't want to. Yeah, it would be a real big dream to hit that, especially getting closer now. It would be very special, and it'd be something that I'm very conscious of if I do leave, that I'm throwing that dream away, and I don't want to do that, really.
Nah, like me personally, I'd love to see you crack that and cement yourself as the best ever All Black halfback, and the fact that you want to stay around and give back more. There's one thing I love about you. Whenever you're home, bro, you're at Fielding High School, and anything that you can do locally to help out in any way, you're always doing it, so respect to you for that, bro.
Oh, it just sucks, like those dreams. Like, if you lived in a city, like, I feel for the boys that live in their city that they grew up in. Like, you could do so much, but I had to chase my dream down south, and, I wanted to play for the Hurricanes and live close to home and be an hour and a half from Fielding. But it's just my path didn't work out, It didn't pan out that way. And some guys have it all. They live in their city, they can give back, they can go to their school, go to their club every second weekend, go watch the derby games. But to do me, I had to come down here, and I try to connect with the people down here as much as I can, just like I do in Fielding. And I always think about that. You wish this, you wish that, but you can't have it all. So
yeah, you can't have it all, bro.
You can't have it all, bro. So
I came home in 2008, and you were cutting my hair then. I remember at Cut Loose in Fielding, and back in those days, I don't know how old you were then, but I think I had a 1 o'clock appointment. I rocked in at 1 o'clock, and so where's Aaron? Oh, he's gone to the bakery, Beresford's Bakery. You rock in about 10, 15 past 1 with a pie and a can of Coke. I'm like, Moldy, I'm a businessman, bro. I'm busy. Don't worry about that. Hurry up and fade this hair up. And then, I remember saying to you then, do you want to be an All Black? And you were like, yeah, no, you ain't going to get there eating fucking pies and Coke, bro. And I remember we, got you on some supplements and stuff. I think you were in the Hurricane squad then. And, you were obviously training hard. And I remember you saying, ringing me up one day, bro, is this stuff legal? I'm like, yeah, why? Oh, man, I put on a couple of kgs. I'm stronger. I'm faster. And my skinnies are the best they ever been, bro. They drug tested me. I'm worried. And obviously everything.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to do.
That's what it's supposed to do, boy. And then, that was sort of the start. I remember then, like, they wanted you a certain weight, you needed to be heavier, but even at 80 kgs back then or 82, it wasn't that quality 82 that you carry now, I remember you even hitting me up for fat burners back in those days. Like, you're far from that now.
Nah, man, I'm like best shape ever. It's mean, but I think it's that, like that baby fat, like that. Once that stopped, and like the like I dropped weight in the off season because I wasn't doing weights anymore. But as you get older, your bones thicken. You're about 26, you just hold weight, like you just hold it. It's good. Like it's just one of those things. But man, I remember my diet back then, bro. It was just like high energy, whatever to keep. Because hairdressing was hard, bro. Like I'd be up at 6 at the gym, go to work, no food because I just didn't have money. I didn't have much money, and then I'd just like have my protein shake. Come to work till 10 or 11. Go and get a toasty or something from next door. High energy, boom. Come back in. I'll have Diet Coke, and then go have lunch with Wayne. He'd cook me a big roast or something, and then just like, Jesus, I was putting the calories in and not burning them off.
Well, I remember that day. I was like, what did you have for breakfast? And you were like, Wheat Bix. I go, what else have you had? Baked beans on toast. And then you're eating a pie and a Diet Coke. I was like, it's all carbs, cousin. You got to get some protein in there. Bro, you want to play prop or halfback?
Man, and I'm just thinking about, even I think about the pain of how hard it was to play with that much weight. Like, it was just like a little double up. I look at photos now. There's one on my wall just here. I'm like, bleh. I look at my guts and I'm like, bleh, bleh. Oh, God. It's just like, look at me. I just look like I've eaten a wagon. But, it's fun. You got to learn, and I'm glad I didn't have to do the old. I'm at the Fielding Empire Hotel going, I could have been this and that. I'll rock back one day and go, I did this and that.
Yeah,
so that's the difference, which is, everyone could. I remember someone said to me the other day when I went back last Christmas, and I was like, he's like, you were once with a bucket ass, and I go, yeah, and you still have a bucket. He thought he was funny as, and I was like, gee, don't hate, bro, don't hate the game. Don't hate hard work, but, mate, it's funny with that. Like, just what you learn from diet now. I love it, It's just sort of that. Because it's the ultimate challenge food, I reckon, Like, all the time. It's like it's the hardest thing, I reckon. Like winter, you crave warm, filling stuff, But trying to eat a salad and cold chicken on a bloody 4 degrees Dunedin morning.
Yeah.
It's
down
like,
there's even colder.
bro, this is tough.
Oh, bro,
not
especially
much, you can't juice up a, chicken, chicken pasta on a bloody Thursday morning that's freezing. There's not much juicing up, but mate, I'm a big fan of primers. Like get up, stay up, mate. That's my thing. Just bang. I just bang that wreckage away hard if I need it.
Yeah. I've been stoked.
Nah, it's mean.
Once you sort of get into that routine and you're training and recovering right, and you recognise the benefits of it, especially at your level, it's just like fuck you. You're a Ferrari, bro. Just got to put the right fuel in, So it's been mean seeing you get good results from it.
Oh, just the thing I like those early years in the All Blacks, like the long year, the back end of the years when you really need the supplements. You really need the vitamins and the water and like just getting it nailed. Like you don't get to train as much, so you can't have as much protein. You can't just have 2 shakes a day because you're not training like you were in Feb. You can't. So you're putting on excess weight you don't need to, and then you end up stop eating because you're heavy at weigh-in. So learning those tricks like back into the year, just 1 shake a day after the main training, and all those things you learn through experience, because they have it all there in the All Blacks, like all of it, like every training, these shakes and that, and but when you taper off the training, you can't have the same, for me, I'll put a kg on real quick, 2 shakes a day, big lunch, 300 grams of chicken, and then a cup of carbs, but then a couple of coffees, and then next minute you weigh in 83, it's like, oh shit, and then you don't eat for 2 days. Like, that's counterproductive, but like that was one thing I learned. I weigh myself every day to keep tabs because it's the only way. And I reckon, and now I know my body clock. I can sort of, before I step on, I go 80.7. I could feel that I had that much for dinner and I had some dessert, and then you jump on, bang. You know your body when you
know where you're at. Yeah.
You know where you're at, and when you've had that, and then. But little things I reckon I change. Like on my day off, I don't eat brekkie, and then I do a calorie burner on the waddy, light spin out, and then I do a 500 cal bike, and then I have a really big lunch, and then just a light dinner. But it's like my counterproductive thing, like get my sweat on, I do a bit of guns, I sweat out some shit, go into an ice bath, a sauna, and then I have like a real yummy lunch, like a pasta, a cinnamon swirl, and a long black, like yummy, but still I haven't eaten breakfast, so I'm those things. And then like Captain's Run day, you do like a 20-minute cross trainer and then some feel good weights, and then you go to Captain's Run and you're all good. But you got to do more outside of what you already have to do, and that's one thing I think I've learned, to get my skin folds down, feel good. But for me on my day off, I can't do nothing, I would just go crazy. So finding those little things, and, if you actually, your trainer's like, don't do anything outside of this, it's just counterproductive. But is it really? Like, I'm not going on the waddy and blitzing myself. I'm just having a little sweat up, and it's a feel good thing, I just feel sane if I do something, and then those like planning your treats, like a cinnamon swirl on my day off, I'm like, I'll go find the best cinnamon swirl or banana bread in that town, You got to have that. You got to have that
your treats.
Treat.
Do the mahi, get the treats,
you got to have the treats. Hard out. And cinnamon swirl or banana bread with butter on my day off. It's just like, that's your treat. Go get it, and you earned it. And then you bike a bit harder and you feel good. But not when you have cheese rolls, Diet Coke, and a toasty just for a morning break. Gee.
That must be Lima's diet, is it? Is that Lima's diet?
He's always a bit nuggety, old Liam, but he's all good.
Yeah, we've been trying to get him Grisby. Me and DJ have been giving him a few programs. I love those. He's all good.
What's in that magic tube that comes on the field when players are down? Like the trainers come on and they give out those satchels, and the players suck it up and get up.
Oh, they're just like those things the triathletes take, the shots,
carb gels,
carb shots.
Fuck, I'm getting some for Shane.
Usually we have them at half time. Yeah, we give them a half time for the old. It's more for your thinking. That's what they reckon. So caffeine and that, it's high energy and sort of drains the. Well, you guys know more than me. It drains like the sugars and that and whatever you've eaten. So it gets the energy out, but the carbo shot just helps with it, and then just helps with the thinking, really. So they did some test of pre-workout, and then we do like a counting test, and then a remembering test, and then you do it at halftime. And then we had half the boys do one at halftime, have a carbo shot, have a bit of Powerade as well, do it a minute later, and then they did it with no carbo shot, no Powerade, just water. And it was like 40% increased, like with sugar. Like, there it is. Have your sugar hit, bang, have some Powerade, rinse it down with water, then now start thinking again, and like the thinking just went up. So second half, you have to be just as sharp as you were first 40, because in the first 40 you've just burnt heaps of calories, and you're a bit empty, and so that was my thing. They just said take this at halftime and you can think better, and then we do it at training now, which is great, and I reckon it works.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But it's all placebo. It's all placebo. I like to have a few lollies at halftime just to get the sugar up and get a bit of food in me. I don't eat much game day, so I sort of just try snacks. So I have a little snack when I get to the ground, a few lollies, a cup of Powerade, and then my wreckage, and then I have another scoop of wreckage with Powerade as I run out. So I'm loaded up, brother. I'm ready to go when I get out there.
The wreckage is real good for that mental focus as well, eh?
Nah, it's mean for that. I like it. That's like, and then if I'm feeling a bit, if it's a big game, I'll try have another one at halftime maybe. But it's good. It's just I like the wreckage too because it's I just reckon the other one's not as hard out, eh? The salt.
Yeah, wreckage salt's not as hard.
You taste it, bro. You taste it. Oh.
Wake up.
You're like, hello, there it is. I like that. Yeah, I could taste it. Yeah, and I just go, boom. And, you can just taste it. This is good, or this is not. I need 4 scoops of that to feel this.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I reckon that I love it.
I spent a little bit of time with the New Zealand Sevens boys in Wellington a few years ago and, put all the supplements together for them for that weekend, and they won. But, bro, the amount of scoops of assault they take a day, like 3 scoops before every game or 2 before and 1 at half. They're having 5-6 scoops a day, some of them, just so they're cranking at that level for the whole duration of the tournament. It's crazy.
Man, on our double days, we'd be the same. Like, we have wreckage, nectar, and caffeine gum there. Like, man, you're shitting just as much as you're eating, pretty much. It's coming out quicker than it's going in and out. But you need it, bro. Like, our double days, Tuesday, Thursday, like, bro, we go 8:30 meeting, train for 2.5 hours, meetings at lunch, go to the gym. You get to the gym, bro, you're just like, I just want to go to bed. Like, you're mentally, physically wrecked. And then you got to go do your best lift of the weekend. It's like, wow. So you need something. We got the music cranking, and then I'm just hitting that wreckage, and I like I carry around a cup of nuts. They're quite good.
Yeah,
just to get those fats in there. And
good fats.
And it feels like you're eating, because I feel like, that 3 o'clock, you're hungry. The wreckage is eating everything you're eating. And, you just keep that little thing, and I like that. And then I sometimes do, when I don't get to do as much weights, I put a scoop of protein in with a bit of Powerade during the session. So it's like carbs and protein during, and then I don't have a shake after. So I find that quite good, especially on the day off sessions, eh? Yeah. So Gatorade. Sorry, we're Gatorade.
Giving the wrong company a plug, bro.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah.
Do you guys have a creative person on the team that comes up with the line out codes? Because some codes get really interesting. Is there a person that goes...
Oh, man, the forwards on Sam Whitelock and Kieran Reid are freaks, bro. That's why they're the shit. And that's why the Canterbury Crusaders rock. They got the 2 gurus, bro, just trying to out-comp each other every week. And, bro, they're just wizards. But, that's cool, man. Like, watching them work and figure out. And it's such a complex... Like a scrum and a line out, so complex, man. It's just...
It is now,
Yeah, it's tricky, but, their goal is to get the ball to us middle to back, and they do it. And it's pretty easy to defend if you can do it, but they're so clever at getting us the ball. You give Bodie and that 0 degrees balls from the back, and, we're hitting that line at full pace. It's hard to stop. So that's why, line out ball and that's, critical, and they just come up with it. The coaches don't even do it. It's Sam Waller.
Leave it to the boys.
They lead it. They go, here, we're doing this, and the coach is like, okay, sweet.
Shit, wow.
Bodie and myself sort of talk about what moves we like that could work against that, and then match it up with the lineouts, really. Can you get us this ball off this and commit their hooker so we can run it there, pick on their 10, and they're like, yep. So, okay, sweet.
That's it.
Yeah, so even those little things, you go watch that third French test and we did that maul. We knew what we wanted to do, because if we got a maul that went infield, they keep 3 on the blind, and then there's more open on the right. And then we got it straight away. The maul went infield, bangs. Sonny out the back to Daymac into Rico. There's no one there, mate. You're not catching him.
Yeah, later.
Just little things like that. You just it has to all come together, but that's why, rugby's such a fascinating game. Yeah. That's why we lose it, because you can do all these training tries and it's like, oh yeah, that'll work, but man, you get in a game and it doesn't work, you're like, fuck.
You have to adjust constantly.
Yeah, you're like, bugger. And then when it works, you're just like, yeah, boy, because it looks so easy, but it's so hard to do.
Yeah, you guys will make it look easy, that's for sure. Who in your in your professional rugby career has impressed you as a hard trainer? Or I did some training sessions with Ben Franks, and he nearly killed me, man.
No, man, those Franks, their professionalism is just, it's through the roof, mate. But some of those guys, then you go to speed. Rico's just a machine. He's fast, but yeah, man, the All Blacks are we have a Thursday power session, and it's just all scores and measurements, and it's all measured, and it's a whole competition. There's agility, there's power to weight, there's bench pull, there's bench press with the cables, there's jump squats. It's just a big oozing of competitive dudes going for it, and it's just what'd you get? What's your number? What'd you get? And I beat you, and or whatever. I'm going to go now, and it's just they don't even need. They just give us the platform, and then the competitiveness takes over. But yeah, it's just all different. That's the beauty of rugby. Some guys that you'd think would be a beast in there, like Retallick, he can't lift anything, but he blows anyone our way in the game. He's got the biggest engine. Ball. Yeah, and to be 6'8" and clear anyone out, tackle anyone, go all day, those guys, Whitelock and that, the same. But, then you got Etzebeth from Africa. He's got the biggest arms in the world. They're as big as my legs. But, I'd still pick these guys over them, It's just rugby's all about size and all this. No, it's not. It's about skill, precision, brains, all of it. And it's such a crack-up game, I reckon. And, you need your props who just push. You need your locks who jump and tackle all day. You need your loosies who are like a half-back, half forward, half cyborg / can go all day or steal the ball or jump in the line out, or and then we just got these backs that just score from anywhere. It's freaky. It's freaky. And I'm a halfback who just passes all the time, which is boring as shit. But I've got to do. That's the only thing I can do really well, so I'll do it. But
yeah, your passes are right. But your running game, and that's good when you choose to run when there's opportunities. You got game, bro.
Nah, it's all good. You know what I mean? Yeah, everyone dreams to be like Waisakina Holo or Rico Ioane getting the line breaks, but we can't all do that. It'd be boring if we're all like that.
Too far to run that far anyway, bro.
Hard out. I'd rather set up a try any day than score one.
Yep.
Well, if you ever get bored of rugby, we need a lot of help at the Parramatta Eels, man. So start thinking about a switch in the next 5 years, bro.
Well, I actually nearly went to the Tigers once.
No way.
That was one story. When I was 17, I played there was a trainer from 102 who's a ex-league trainer, and Tim Sheens was with him in Palmy, and he came and watched me play, and I nearly went I got offered a 3-year deal. It was quite a bit of money, and I was like, holy shit, Dad. And he's like, it was you could see how all those Islander boys couldn't turn it down, just to feed their families. And I think about that moment in my life, we weren't well off, but we weren't broke or anything. Like, we had a good life, very safe. And my parents were like, if you want to go, this could be good for you. You know, go live in, go to the West Tigers for 3 years and see if you can cricket, play hooker. But, you know, I didn't want to leave home. I wanted to try and make the All Blacks. And it was like a long off dream. I didn't tell anyone, but, you know, I was like, oh, maybe. But I actually reckon, I always think back now, like, you know, if I didn't crack rugby, should I have gone or something? But, you know, I'm lucky it worked out. But, you know, I always think, like, if league was more global, I reckon I would have been gone. But I just knew it wasn't. I knew it was like Sydney, New Zealand, and England, and that was about it, you know. But I knew that rugby, even if you weren't good in New Zealand, you could go to England and play like club rugby, second div, and like enjoy life, but play rugby. Like, if you were all right in New Zealand, you were going to be good somewhere else. Even if you weren't getting paid, you're going to be like a star at some club in like England. You know, like the Kiwis, you always hear about that. My uncle went and played in England when he was backpacking. Like, he was like, you know, he was like a normal 7 over here, but he played 12 there because he could catch, he could run, he could pass. Like, it's like, well, that's not very hard in New Zealand, but he was there. He was an all right player, but over there they loved him. You know, but
I think
that was quite cool.
Choice, bro. I think you made the right choice.
I'd love to, honestly. I got a list of things I want to do after rugby, and I want to do like is it physique? I want to just give that a crack. I want to see how I want to try and do a bodybuilding comp, do a triathlon, do a marathon, go to the Super Bowl.
Ah, awesome.
But yeah, that bodybuilding comp I reckon would be cool. So I'll be coming to fielding for a boot camp, Shane, and we're going to get me in
bro.
there.
Me and DJ. DJ is my coach, bro. He'll do all the nutrition, and yeah, I'll train you up for sure.
You just get me, boom, 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 and I just want to go stank, and then spray paint myself black as, and I'll be good.
You only
I love that. Yeah.
You only see the
happy. So cool, I reckon.
You only see the happy snaps on Instagram and Facebook. You don't see the phone calls at midnight saying, "I can't go on. Please give me a chocolate. I just want a chocolate. Shut up. Get back to bed. You're not having a chocolate.
You better go to bed. You're up in 2 hours. Hurry up."
Hello, Shane. Is this
that's
you?
not me, bro.
That'd be cool,
easy,
I reckon, though. But if you had a goal in mind, like anything, I think the best thing around all that stuff I think about that you can do after rugby is like it's individual. You know, like everything we do in rugby, like you can do your job, but if one of your mates doesn't turn up that night, you're buggered. Like,
yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah, but I reckon like that stuff, like golf, bodybuilding or something like that, I reckon I'll be like, yeah, this is me. Man. It's all on me. It's all on me.
Yeah, that's what I love about it at the most, man. What you put in is like what you get out.
Because it's easy, you know, you train with your friends and you train with and help people, but that's the teamwork side of it. But in the end, you're getting judged on what you do, you know, like.
Yeah, handy.
What you do with Flawless and that's just being a good guy, you know. That's just being a brother, being a fielding guy. But when it comes down to when you need to do your bit, I always see you in there grinding away, and they ain't there.
Handy, bro. We're there.
Hey, where you at? I see you doing your steps, and bro, hard. What is it? There's no easy road on the hard mile.
Yeah, handy, bro.
Spot on, bro.
Oh, well, who inspired you, or who did you admire growing up to? Was it rugby players or basketball players or who?
Yeah, funny. I always loved Tana Umaga, bro. When we were growing up, he was like the man. You know, like he was the one, bro. And had the cool dreads. He was big. He was the Hurricanes. He was Wellington. Like he was the man. And then, as I said, I love cricket. Love Nathan Astle. He was the man.
Yeah.
And then I was hard out into karate. So like The Matrix, like Keanu Reeves, man, I watched those movies so much. Yeah. Like I said, you know, those things I want to do, and I would love to get back into karate. See, I was one belt short of black belt, so I got pretty close, but they wouldn't let me do it because I would have been the youngest ever to get it, but they were like, no, he's too young. Yeah.
You obviously like
to get your black belt, you've got to fight 13 senseis, but they've got to beat the shit out of you. And I was 14, and they're like, nah, we can't do that. He will break him. And yeah, my brown belt was pretty bad. You fight 10 senseis, and I just got through it. Like they were trying to break my legs really, And my dad was like coming down in the stands like, leave alone. I was like, sit down.
One in the punch on.
Like, sit down, get out of it. And he's like, leave my boy alone. And I was like, Dad, this is what we're going to do to get it. But I always wished I got my black belt, but I'll get it one day. But it's one of those funny things. Yeah, I remember that. Like, my dad's like trying to come down and save me, but all these guys can kill people with their feet, and you want to come and fight them. Like, I always remember. I was like, Dad, you're crazy. Like,
shot, Dad. That's what Dad's got to do.
Yeah, you're the man, Dad. I know you know that you were going to get your ass handed, but you had to show that you cared, and he cared. And it was cracking me up. He was in his, big. He was at the mill then. He had these big Timberlands on, cut off shorts. He was going to get a hiding if he came running in there. But my mum was just sitting there crying. God, I was just like, it's all good. I'm going to get this. And then but it was funny. But my mum, my dad, I love what they did for me, and I love their sacrifices, their support. I think the older you get, the more you see how much they gave up and how cool. Like, my dad built me a sleep out when I was 14. He was like, I always wanted to sleep out when I was younger, to have my own space and be a man and have parties and stuff. And he built me one when I was 14, and it was mean. It wasn't just a sleep out. It was like a nanny flat, like shower, kitchen, had to do my own washing. But I think that's why it helped when I was sort of used to being alone from like a young age. When I was 14, I was scared about being alone then, but had to get over it pretty quick because it was actually really cool. All the parties were at my house, and Mum would sit in the driveway by the sleep out and just like smoke with her rum, and if she liked you, she'd let you into the party, and if she didn't so like, it was funny, man. You know what my mum's like? She'd sit there and just sat there
gangster,
with the dog, and like there's a path to my little flat, and she'd be like, nah, go away, get out. Mum was a teacher at high school then, so she knew who the bad boys were and who the real bad girls or good girls were, and if you were nice to her, she'd let you in, and all my boys would come in, high fire, and give her a big kiss, and she'd get her hugs, and she was happy, and she'd let you in, and it was pretty funny. But if she didn't like you, they weren't allowed in, and they used to go, beg Mum, please let these girls in. Nah.
No.
But, she was cool. And my dad would be out there and just chilling, having a beer with the boys, and it was mean. My high school years are great, and they just made it fun, my sleeper had a bar, a 60-inch TV, and a camera. Like, we took like Polaroids, so it was just like mean, and it was just so much fun. Like, he just gave me what he wanted, and they both gave me what they didn't have, and I hope to repay my kids one day for it.
Oh, bro, that's the best part. Like, that's what I get to do for Jax now. You know what I mean? We're building him a dirt bike track, and he just gets to do and have the things that we didn't have, but you still teach him about hard work and respect and discipline as well. So it's pretty cool.
Oh, like they didn't make it like, as much as it sounds like I got hooked up. Like, my dad was quite funny though. Like, a good story was like, so I'd come home from First 15, like a game, and then I'd be like, hey Mum, can I have a few drinks tonight with everyone? And she's like, yeah, sweet. And then I'd go tell all the boys quickly, you can come over about 6 or 7, watch the rugby and have a few beers, and sweet. But then Mum wouldn't ever buy the beers, my dad would. So like, I'd have to go ask him next. I'd be like, oh Dad, can I get some beers? And he's like, there's the lawns and the driveway that needs sweeping, so I'll go get the beers, and when they're done, you can do it.
You can have them.
And I was like, man, that's like 5:30. Everyone's coming in like an hour. So I've just played a game. I'm like rushing home. The boys like, what are you doing? I was like, I gotta go, bro. I gotta do the driveway. I gotta mow the lawns. And I remember one time I did the lawns, and the driveway was still there, and the boys are walking past me, kissing Mum to go to my sleep out. I'm like, help me with the driveway. They're like, nah, bro, that's your job. I was like, you mother ruckers, like, help me, like. And my dad would always be funny, and then I'd be like, where's the beers? You didn't go get them. And then he's like, already bought them. They're in the fridge. And then he's hooked it up. I'm like, but it was funny. Like, I'd come home and he'd just find some job, go do the hedge, go trim the hedge up, or go and go redig the garden, or like, it was always something. And I just try to like bite my tongue. And he's like, I can't just give you everything. You can't just take. You can't, And I was just like, yeah. But he knew that I'd do whatever.
Whatever had to be done.
Yeah. But, I made a sevens team once, and we had a tournament, and I rung him. I go, Dad, I made it, like, mean. And he's like, the fridge will be full when you get back. hurry up. And I was like, yeah, boy. And like, he wasn't, but he just didn't give me it all for free, like it was cool. Like those special times, he made it really special for me and my friends, and always looked after us. And all our friends' parents got on, and they knew that they were safe at my house because my mum was a teacher. Wayne would always hang around. Any trouble, we'd sort it. And then, like the parents, well, especially for the girls, our group was really tight. But after about a year, like the mums or dads would come and drop them off to see the party, but mum would be there and they'd just see it's safe as and that. So I was quite lucky, and we had a safe place to hang out. There was a bit of stuff in fielding back then. There was a few little riffs or gangs or little wannabes, but it was still a little bit scary if you went to other parties. But my house was always safe and no drama ever happened there. So a lot of people had their 17s or 18s at mine, but it was always a safe, loving environment. So that was what I was quite blessed around my high school, and being in fielding, and we just like, it was cool. So that was like my upbringing was the bomb, bro, and it was so much fun. And it's just like, oh god, to go back to high school, you just love it again because it was the best years ever.
Were those little gangs you're talking about led by Shano with his one sock and headbands?
I don't know, but there was like this,
Can't get past your mum.
Man, there are some dodgy people in fielding though, Shane? Like, if you go to the wrong party, gee, you can get in some trouble.
Handy.
Yeah, so it was good to have that safe kind of... Or you just didn't trust anyone. Like, oh, man, you're one cheeky comment away from a hiding, and not like a one person hiding, like a few guys rolling you. Like, it just wasn't worth... Yeah, I was pretty quick, so anything got too dodgy, I'd just get out of there. But I learnt pretty quickly that that's not the kind of people I want to kind of be hanging around with. And, that was cool. Like, my dad had sort of set that up. Like, the little bar was like, you'd come there and you were safe, you'd talk, you didn't listen to loud music, or we just chat and just yarn, tell us stories when you lived in Sydney, and just good old yarns. And sometimes the boys' dads would come in for an hour or two. It was like, we all like, you always dreamed of drinking a couple of beers with your dad, so I did it every weekend. It was fun as. So just those things around that, and all our old men and that, and we had all our mates stag do's last few years, and man, they were like more fun than you would have thought. We were all about 15, how goofy we were, and reminiscing and loving how those years of crack up. So it's just quite a tight little group. Our 7 form group was, and good people, and they've all been pretty successful. We've got a few doctors, got a few people that own invention companies, got a few lawyers. One guy's a PT in Sydney. One's a head surgeon. One's a...
Shit, wow.
We got about 3 All Blacks, about 6 that made Super Rugby. And then one of them's like an author. I forgot that she was an author. And, little old fielding. We, our 7 form group's pretty successful. And I try to think about, good people, good school, good town, and safe, which is something that, creates a really melting pot of success. And I think it's just one of those things. Fielding people are good people, and Shane's real good proof of that. I remember when he first rolled in, man, I was like, holy hecker, who's this dude? But man, I was like dreaming after that. I want a mean watch like that. I want guns. I want fades. I want the Gucci glasses. I don't know if they were Gucci or Versace, but they were something flash, and I was like, holy hecker. And I'm thinking, I'd love to be a boss dog one day too, so hopefully I get to do it.
You're killing it, bro. Awesome. You're killing it now.
But that's what Hayley said. She always talked about Shane. Like, I got a mate, lives in Sydney, he's like, does all this. And I was like, oh, yeah, where is he? And then, boom, she's like, oh, my mate's come home. And then, you came in, and I was like, holy hecker. He is everything you said, Hayley.
Yeah, because you're way younger growing up.
Yeah. But no, it's like one of those things, like, when we connected really early, I used to cut your hair and that, and then you helped me with the sups, and then you just helped me. But then in the last few years, you've just been a real good guy to me, and you never forget people that have your back and are willing to help. And, I take, gratitude in that any chance I can help a young fella or someone on the upbringing, or, our young guys with stuff around to buy houses or investing or something, it's just about giving back. But me and my missus really enjoy watching your Instagram, and bro, your boy Jax cracks me up, man.
Oh, yeah. I think all those followers are his, not mine.
Chat, bro. Chat. He's just funny, man. What are we doing, bro? Chat. Take Grisby. Chat. It's just like the funniest thing out, but, oh, man. I appreciate all the love, and it's a meme. And go fielding, eh?
Yeah, meme, bro. No, I just love seeing you do well, bro, and you know, be the best version of yourself. So I've enjoyed our relationship and seeing what you've done over these last couple of years. And likewise, you've always been good to me and my family, and it's mean, bro. That's what we do.
Hard out, man. And I'm always here. If you need anything, bro, let me know. You know that.
Yeah, handy, bro.
Can I get a couple of tickets to the Bledisloe Cup, bro, now that we're bros?
Well, you just need to message me, and then we'll see what we can do, my bro, for sure. You bring me a Tigers jersey, I'll bring you some tickets.
There you
Done,
go,
man.
Tigers.
Signed and sealed. Hey, thanks heaps, Aaron. Really appreciate your time, bro. We know how busy you are on that, so really appreciate you coming on our podcast, man. So we'll let you go, but before we do, where can people see you or contact you after this podcast?
Oh, I've just got a private account, mate, so I keep it pretty quiet, so I'm not really a big come look at me here or anything. I used to be about their life, but I ain't about their life anymore, so go follow our F45 Dunedin South. That's where you'll see the most of me.
Yeah, handy.
Doing my mahi, and watch the Highlanders play. That's how we do it.
That's it, brother.
But all good, man. That's much love, bro. And happy to hear it. And I love podcasts, and I love learning from those. I listen to a lot of them, so that's me.
Awesome, bro. Thanks, man.
Cheers, boys.
All right, brothers. Thank you, bro. Take care, eh?
Thank you, Shane. Thank you, DJ. Cheers, brother.
Thanks, Aaron.
Stay crispy, bro.
Man.
Hey,
Bye.
bro, you got to send me my guns program. I told you.
Yeah, I'll email you one. I got you.
He'll email you.
I need to be able to move my arms, though. That's the only thing I was thinking.
You won't be able to,
one
but...
where I won't be able to shake the next day, but I don't care. I need to get that shit.
He will email you after he emails me. Then I email him one, and then he'll email you my one.
Yeah. That's why I wanted to say it while you're both on the phone, because I'm picking up there. You're putting down. Yo.
All right, brother.
You got to get me in there 40 club. I want to get in there 40 club. 37 at the moment. Give me that extra 3 inches.
Okay, we got you.
Get ready, man.
Thank you. Cheers, boys.
Cheers, bro.
Cheers, brother.
See you, man.
Peace.
Bye.
Hey, yo, check it. The hour power. POD cast is upon your ass. Spitting on the mic is the NZ boss. And his homie DJ NZ the odds. Yeah. Don't twitch, don't snitch, don't switch. Just open up your senses. And now listen to the hour power. To the hour power. To the hour power. To the hour power.